If we don't have a whole lot of doomishness this week, like we did last week, it's very possible we could get that rear end in this car and be done with it this week. But I can't do it talking to y'all, so let's get busy. Today is Saturday, and y'all know I kind of take it easy on Saturdays. What I want to do, I done pulled the chunk out. I'm going to put the axles back in. I got to bolt the wheels to it some kind of way. I ain't got no lug nuts, lug bolts, wheel studs, whatever you want to call them. So we'll just have to rig us up something that'll work. That way we can get it under the car, get it situated where it's going to go. Then I can start putting my pieces up there and eyeballing what I got to do. So let me get that under the car real quick. Well, I decided to go to Ireland and give me some wheel studs. I didn't think they'd have this size, but they did. Half 20, but a 687 knurl. I tried putting them all in at the same time, and it just wouldn't do it. I don't think I've ever pressed in wheel studs. Sure haven't. I've always used the impact, but we got the press here, the axles. I can easily get them out. And I thought, well, let's just press them. It's much easier. You know, if you're using an impact and just lug nuts, you'll wear your lug nuts out pretty quick. So anyway, this is the easiest way if the axles are out. Let me get the rest of these on. I gotta do the other axle, then we'll get that sitting under the car. There's one. Well, I got the rear end in the car. Let me tell you this, what you see right now took me a while. Yeah, I was hoping I could just roll it up the ramp. You know, had it on the floor. I was hoping I could just roll the whole thing up the ramp, but the jack wouldn't go high enough for that tire to clear. So I had to take it back apart, scoot the rear end under, put the wheels on. Then I forgot the rotors. My inside of my tires were rubbing. And I scratched my head over that for a few minutes. What in the world happened? Well, then I realized I didn't have my rotors on, so they wasn't spaced right. So I had to take the wheels back off, put the rotors on. Now, well, with this jacked up, you know, just holding it where, you know, where it needs to be, well, I had the front end up too high. So I had to come back here on the back and put it on jack stands. And it's not sitting on jack anymore. It's sitting like it's going to be going down the road. My ride height, I think it was supposed to be 25 1/8. Well, right now it's sitting at 25 1/2. It's close enough. I ain't worried about that. I got this wheelbase set, 124. Well, actually, it's not 124. I'm hooking my tape on the front of the wheel. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, wheelbase right now is 124. Can't set the other side because, well, let me get under the car and I'll show you. I can't set the wheelbase on the passenger side because, well, our housing is hitting right here, right off the bat. We're going to have to cut a big hole right here. And then we ain't got but maybe an inch or so of clearance on the top. I could have swore I measured all this. Well, I might have forgot this, but I know I measured this. I could have swore that they were pretty much the same. Well, they ain't. So we can't do nothing else till we cut a big old chunk out here and then one up top. We ain't doing it tonight though because, like I told y'all, it's Saturday. I take it easy on Saturdays. Tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. So I reckon I'll see y'all Monday. We'll get to working on this. 'Tis the next day, and let us not dilly-dally. Let's just get busy. I got to cut this floor up. Well, you can see I got a line right there. And then up yonder, got a line for the chunk. This one here, I got a bar that's got to go across here for my shocks. Oh, you'll understand it later. Anyways, I got to cut all that out right there. Let me get the plasma cutter up here and get to cutting. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got my fire blanket there over the gasoline tank. Hopefully we won't catch it on fire. Well, I do believe we got lots of room for activity now. Hello up there in the cab. How y'all doing? I cut it back this far because, like I said, I got to have a bar running through here for my shocks, my coilovers to mount to. Then, of course, we got to have room up here for the chunk to go up and down. I think that'll work. I got my upper bar already in place pretty much. Only thing I got to do to it, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, the front corner of that mount is hitting the floorboard and it's cocking it a little bit. Grind that off, but it's ready to go, ready to weld in place. Now this bottom mount, this is made for a 3-inch axle. This kit is made for an S10, like my little S10. Reason I got it is because it was cheaper and I could get it in a couple of days. Anyways, made for a 3-inch axle. You can see it don't fit real good. We'll have to do a little grinding to make it fit. But we got an issue on the bottom bar. Well, let me show you this front mount. That's the front mount for the bottom bar. We got to cut these wings off. Then it's just going to mount to the bottom of the frame. Well, that bar is so long, it's going to be about right cheer. And, well, this bar, you want this bottom bar to be level with the ground. Well, it's going to be aimed down, if y'all can see that. So, what I'm probably going to do is cut it off and then put this mount on up here somewhere so that bar will be level. Let me go do a little reading on rear suspension. I used to know all this stuff many moons ago when I was working on the old Trans Am Air, putting a 9-inch in it. I done forgot all that stuff. Let me go study up on this a little bit, see how critical that bottom bar being level is. That may just be for drag racing purposes. I don't know. Let me do that, and then I'm sure we're probably going to have to cut this off and do, like I said, put that mount here. When we do that, we've got to rethread this, and these are metrical. Oh, yeah. So I need to go see if I got a tap. If not, then I need to go ahead and order one. I shall return in a little while. All right, here's the deal. I just did a little bit of research, and everything on 4-bar, 4-link, it's all about drag racing. There's nothing I can find setting it up for the street, so I'm just going to do what I think I need to do. Here's what we're going to do. Of course, that's going to be welded to the rear end. And then, we got to cut these little wings off this mount. And it'll still have us way down there. I don't really want it that close to the ground. So what I'm going to do is cut her on off. Bring her on up approximately right there. Weld it to the frame. That way we ain't got to cut that. I think we'll be just fine and dandly. But before I can do anything, I got to get this old, we call him leaf spring mount, out of the way. There's a couple of other little mounts. Exhaust has got to go because I can't get to that to weld it, and our fuel line's right in the way. So I'm going to try to just bend it out of the way for now, and then later we may, do something else about it. But I got to get all this stuff out of the way. Got to grind these old shock mounts off right here, right up in there. And when I get that done, I'll be back. I think I'm going to take the old bump stops off too, because they ain't doing no good. I might find some that are really short and put there. But let me get all that stuff ground, took out of the way, and I'll be back. Let's get this here bracket up here. Okay, okay. Okay. I got several old brackets. I might go ahead and burn them off too. Gotta get this one off. I sawed it off. Let's get the rest of it off. Pretty much the same thing over here. Get out of here. Let me grind all that welding stuff smoothly, then I'll do the other side the same way. Oh yeah, that looks mucho better. All that stuff going right there. Same thing over here. Also, I decided to wrap my fuel line with wet rags. You gotta die someday. I didn't want it to be today. No, sir. Also, I'm not a fan of cutting and grinding and carrying on above your head. Boy, it'll eat you up. Also, burnt my fingernail. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Probably not. Burned it really good. It smelled like burning hair. Yep, that was nasty. Oh, yeah. I forgot to show you this. I did that the other day working on that rear end. That hurts a little bit. Anyway, what we're going to do now, this mount for the bottom arm, this one here, this one up here, I got to do a little cutting and fitting. So let us get busy doing that. I'm hoping I can get all 4 bars tacked in and maybe get our shock bar. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Anyways, let's get busy fitting them. Here's the bottom bracket, and it needs to be pretty straight, you know, because I got my coilover that mounts in them holes there, and it's a little gap. I think this edge on the inside right here. Let's grind on it a little bit, and that may be all we need to do. I do believe that's going to work. I took off all the gap there. That'll be easy to weld. The only thing I got to do with these now is just grind some of these paint away before I weld them. Now, what we got to do to these front ones, like I said, we got to cut these wings off. Then I'm going to cut this just as low as I can and still get my bar in there. Let me get it stuck in there, get a bolt in it, and I'll draw me a line. We'll get over and cut it. I've determined where I'm going to cut it off. I was going to go shorter, but then the bar, you know, get your frame running here. That bar may come up and hit the frame, so I decided, well, let's not go so far. I think I'm cutting 1 1/4 inches off is what my measurement is. Got all my brackets cut, got them ground. Oh yeah, I can weld that now. What we gotta do now, well, I gotta determine where this is gonna be located. See, I got me a mark. What I did was I measured in between the frame rails, 40 inches. This little bracket here is 2 inches wide. Well, I'll try to find center, which will be 2 inches because this frame rail is 4 inches here. Center will be 2. But then I want the edge, actually, so I'm going to make a mark here at 1 inch from here to the edge. Well, then I come over here, come off of this frame rail over to here. Maybe mark it 42, because that would be the center of the frame rail. Then, I found center of this bracket, got the mark there. Put that right there, line them marks up, tack it. Put my bar in here, bring it down here, attach it to this bracket. Bring them up here. Get it centered this way and tack it in. When I weld this bracket in, I want this surface here. That's where my shock mounts. I want this surface plumb with the world. And we got to get our pinion angle set. Let me show you how to do that. I just got this pretty little digital, what do you call this? Angle finder? I don't know. And I had an old cheap one I got from Lowe's several years ago. And well, I just thought, let's get a digital one. So what you do is you find your angle on your transmission. Looks like it's 87.7. Well, then you bring her over here to the rear end, and you want to get 87.7 on it. Which way do I need to go? That way. It's close enough, 87.6. These bars, where are they at? They got adjustment on them right here. When we're putting them in, you want to leave a little room. You don't want them jammed all the way in because you won't be able to, you know, adjust it either way. So anyway, now we got the pinion angle set. It is time to roll the welder out. Let's tack this bracket on first. Let me explain real quick on the pinion angle. 99.99999% of the time, the transmission is going to be angled down at the back, like that right there. You want the pinion angle to match it, but be opposite. You want it to be the same angle, but pointing up. That's what we're doing right here. If it's straight, you joints, they want a little bit of an angle, or they'll vibrate. Oh yeah, too much of an angle, they'll vibrate too. Anyways, let me get the welder out. We'll go to tacking this up. All right, check the wheelbase one last time. It's where it should be. I got it centered side to side. I just checked the pinion angle one more time. Now we got to get this little feller here at 0 degrees and give her a tap real quick like once we get her centered up. Come on around, a little more right there. Oh yeah. Got to turn my wire speed down a little bit. 89.7. I'm not going to complain about 0.3 degrees. No. Check pinion angle. 87.7. Oh yeah. Let me get this bar put in here real quick. I left a real wide gap here. I don't know if it just didn't bend it around far enough or what. There ain't no spacers over there, so I'm assuming you just have to squeeze it, close it up. I don't know. Checking all my measurements, and my pinion angle has changed a little bit. Let me get it back. Alright, I've checked my width again, I've checked my wheelbase again. Let this weld get her lined up on the mark. Take the other side. Well, we got one bar in. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Just checked my angle here. Look over here. We're at 87.7. That's what we're supposed to be. Got this in here tacked up pretty good. Let me do the bottom over here. Then I'll be back and we'll start working on the top bars. All right, I'm ready for the top bar to be tacked in. The only thing I had to do with it was grind off the paint so we can weld. Let me get her in place where everything goes. Approximately right there. Angle is at 87.7. Let me give her a tack. I might let it down, get those. I might get in the trunk and get them. All right, I'm fixing to weld right next to these here fuel lines. Got them wrapped with my wet rags again. Hopefully I don't blow myself up. Just try it, see what it does. Alright, let me let it down and weld these, or tack them from the top a little bit better. Then I'll be back. Alright, let's check our wheelbase. Y'all look at that right there. 124 in the middle. Let's check the other side. See if it's the same thing. Sure hope it's the same thing. What do we have? Oh, look at there. 124. Yep. Alright, what we got as far as side to side here. We're off just a little bit. This there's just a wee bit closer here, but then it's got more room right here. This, I mean, I'll measure it with my finger. You know, we got eyeball precision. This here, this is fingertip precision. Oh yeah, good enough. What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna set y'all up on the stand. We're gonna run her up and down through its range of motion, which ain't a whole lot. As you can see, we might have, what, 2.5, 3 inches there. Let's see what it does. Going up. Parts falling off, that's alright. Don't pay no attention. Alright. We had about 2 inches. I measured a minute ago. Now we're at about 4.5. That's pretty much going to be its travel, I'd say. Mainly due to the shock travel. I just wanted to see if it felt like anything was in a bind. That's moving. That's moving. I think we'll be all right. Now let me bring it all the way down and wham bam frame the rear end, see what it does. Going down. As you can see, we are all the way down as far as we can go. Our bar is not hitting the frame here. Still loose. I don't feel no binding. Right up in here though, our floorboard is hitting this, so we may have to cut that out a little bit more, I don't know. Or it could just be sagging, it might be sagging. We'll worry about that later. I'm glad to get this much done tonight. I do believe we're gonna call it a day. Tomorrow, I wanna get the coilovers on. We gotta get that cross member across here. And if everything looks good, we can go ahead and weld everything up. And then we gotta work on the floorboard. I'm not looking forward to that. Gotta be done. Anyways, see y'all tomorrow. Take a look at it before I go in the house. And them bars, they're angled down in the front. Absolutely. I don't think it's really gonna matter on a street car. If it's a drag strip car, yeah, it'd matter. Well, you got center of gravity, you got instant center, you got, oh, there's another one. What is it? Anti-squat line. Yep. All of them you got to worry about if you're a drag racer. We ain't no drag racer. We just going down the road. I think we'll be all right. If it ain't, well, you know what? We'll change it. Anyways, see y'all tomorrow. Today's the next day again. And again, we have a whole new set of dilemmas. Yes, sir. Trying to get the coilover mount cross member figured out. And well, it's going to have to go where it is right now, because I'll put it here where this is behind it. Well, that's going to hit the rear end. I got to make a hoop, and I don't want to do all that. So we're going to move it back and do it like this right here. That's about where the, well, that's good for my angle finder. Yep, brand new, probably broke it. Anyway, my main issue right now is that coilover is at a 41-degree angle according to my busted angle finder. I'm going to move it down to this bottom hole and see what that does, but I think 40 degrees is too much. The more you angle a coilover, the less spring rate you got. So I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet. Let me move this to the bottom hole, see where our angle's gonna be real quick. New plan. See where my cross member is? On top of the frame. And then you bring this up right here, and that puts us at about a, I think it was like a 22-degree angle, and I'm okay with that. But we're really close to the frame over here. I'm afraid when it bottoms out, it's gonna hit. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna break all these bottom bar tacks loose, scoot this in as far as I can. I'm gonna scoot this to the inside of the frame. Should give me enough room between the frame and the spring where it don't hit. And this needs to be scooted to the front just a wee bit, because it's got this kind of angled right now, and I don't want that. It'll be hard on that bushing. So it's got a little bit of cross member right here on that floor brace. We'll have to cut that out, and then I'll have to cut a little bit of this metal out here, so this will set direct on the frame, weld it to it. I'll have to drill holes in this and put spacers and whatnot, but I think that's what we're gonna do. Let me cut these loose and go to moving them in. First thing. Why do stuff right when you can do it twice? Ain't that how the saying goes? There's one. Let me get this front off real quick like. Alright, let me get this and this cleaned up. Get these cleaned up. We'll do this for the second time. Got her cleaned up. Ready to weld back in place, or tack in place. We got to get us our mark lined up. Get this at 0 degrees. Right there. Then all we gotta do is get this one on the edge, do a little tacky tack. That old steel, man, it don't weld very good. Here's the new coilover angle. As you can see, we got mucho more room between the frame and the spring. Angle finder says we're at 23 degrees now. I did some reading a little while ago, and it says for the street, you want your coilover at a 15 to 25 degree angle for best handling. Of course, you know, we ain't gonna be doing no road coursing with the old Forte, but 23 degrees, we're within that range they're talking about. I need to do the same thing over here, move this over 1 inch, but I got to go to town. My dang secretary, she's took off again. I'm telling you, I'm about fed up with it. Anyway, I got to have hardware for these. These bolts here came with the 4-bar system, and it's only enough for the bottoms, ain't got nothing for the top of the shock. So I got to go to the bolt store, get some metric bolts, just like this, and then I got to find something to make spacers like this, because they got to go inside of the tubing here. So let me run to town for a little bit. When I get back, we'll do this side over here. In case you can't figure it out, I'm back from town. Went ahead and moved to this end like we talked about. And then I cut out a bunch more metal up here. And then I got me a cross member cut, and well, it ain't gonna work. We ain't got but about 1 inch or so in between top rear end and this. Well, they're gonna smash into each other. I thought about moving it back here, but then it tilts the cross member, because you know that's sloping down. Puts it at an angle. I don't have to deal with that because, well, I don't like angles. And if you ain't figured it out, suspension is not my forte. No pun intended. It's just too many angles, too much stuff going on. You have to think about it, and I don't want to. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna leave this where I first intended. We're gonna go up with an arch, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 inches, where it'll clear the rear end, let it move up and down. Then I've spent the last hour or 2, I don't even know, studying suspension and shocks and spring rates, because I don't know where to mount this. Because, you know, this spring is going to compress when we put the weight on it. I don't really know how much. And, well, it may compress till this is down on here. Well, matter of fact, it's probably going to, because when you put a spring, a coilover at an angle, well, the spring rate decreases. Therefore, you had to go up on the spring rate, you know, according to your weight of your vehicle. Well, it's called, you have sprung weight, which is everything riding on the springs. Then you have unsprung weight, which is your rear end, wheels, tires, all your brake stuff. And it's formulas you got to calculate and whatnot. Well, I got 200-pound springs, and I think that means it takes 200 pounds to move this 1 inch. And, well, my sprung weight is 550, I believe is what I finally come up with. So that means this is going to compress approximately 2 1/4 inches. Does that sound right? But when you got this at angle, like I said, your spring rate goes down. So according to all the calculations I saw, this is going to squish 3 1/4 inches. And, well, we ain't got but 2 here, so that ain't going to work. If I stood this up straighter, it would help. But as you can see, I can't, because we're going to hit the frame. So I don't know. Think what I'm going to do. We're gonna mark that right there. I'm gonna weld a bolt for now on both sides. Put these springs in. We're gonna drop the weight on it and see what it does. And hope and pray that all my tack welds hold. I think they will. That's the only thing I know to do, because, well, the calculators, they're not 100% accurate, you know. Anyway, let me tack this in. Well, we got to make us a hoop first. I forgot about that. Dang it. Let me make this hoop. Then we'll tack that in. We'll weld us a bolt. Put our springs in here. Just see how far we drop. All right, here's my cross member. We're fixing to make this an arch. And thanks to this handy dandy angle finder, I know exactly what angle that I wanted. It's a 30-degree angle up here, flat, and then angle down again. What we're going to do is build the arch, then cut the middle section out of this. That way these two ends will stay, you know, square, straight, flat, whatever with each other. I saw a guy do that. He was doing a C-notch on the frame for the rear end. I can't remember who it was or what it was on. But he built his arch first, then he cut the whole frame out. And I thought, pretty smart. Anyway, let me get this built, then we'll get it in the car and see what it looks like. And I've had an epiphany about my upper shock mounts. Once we get this done, I'll tell you about it. Where are my glaces? I lose my glaces all the time. Yeah, Mr. Glaces, where are you? I found them, I found them. That's hot. Hotter than the devil. Alright. With Artez, I didn't want to have it tacked in place. It's just sitting there. But I do believe they give us plenty of room. May win a little bit too much, but I don't care. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Now, back to this, where we're going to mount this shock up top there. I have had an epiphany, like I told y'all earlier. What if I raise the car up, let's say 2 inches. We got 2 inches of adjustment here. Plus, you know, you can move this, raise the car some. You don't want to go too much because then the spring will get too stiff. But we do have 2 inches right here we can go up. What if I jack the car up 2 inches from its stance right now? And then just bring me a mount down 2 inches from here. You know, make it good and sturdy. I'm going to think on that tonight. I think we're going to call it for the evening. I'm going to think on this tonight, see what I think. Tomorrow it may be what we do. Or we may just go ahead and weld us a bolt there. And then maybe move this to this top hole, see what happens. Let's do that firstly. Yep. We ain't doing it tonight though. Nah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, I ain't got much done today. No, sir. We've been dodging tornadoes from the morning till the evening. Yes, it's nighttime now. We've dodged them all day long. Gonna have to dodge them all night tonight, I think. Well, matter of fact, there's a video that I put on the Facebook page of a tornado about 2 miles that away. Yes, sir. A little too close to home. I don't like it. I hate this time of year because tornadoes. I'm just terrified of them. Anyway, let me show you what little bit I did get done. I got our little shock cross member tacked in. Then I got some bolts tacked to it so we could put our coilovers up here. Then I moved them to the top hole. What we're fixing to do, we're going to let her down easy and see how much it squishes. And that'll tell me if I need bigger springs. It'll tell me if this, you know, might actually work. So let me set y'all up on the stand. I'll let her down. Let's see what it does. All right, let's see what kind of distance we got right here between the axle and the frame. I'm showing approximately 3 3/4 of an inch. Watch this close up, and that'll tell us if our springs are stout enough or not. Going down very slowly. All right, the jack is off the car. That's all the weight on the springs. And if this doesn't fall and mash my hand, I'm gonna tell you how much we went down. Now we got about right at 2 inches, 1 3/4. I think it'll be all right. I just checked our measurement from the ground to the fender. It was 24 3/8. We're about 3/4 of an inch, roughly, lower than we used to be, and I'm okay with that because I wanted it to come down a little bit, tuck that tire a little bit more. I didn't get real rough with it, but I did grab this bumper. Let me let this jack back down off of it real quick. It's got some bounce to it, so we can change the spring rate a little bit, by tightening it up. And if I have to, I can get more springs. They don't cost that much. We're gonna try it like it is though for now, see how it rides and all. If it's too soft, like I said, we'll just go to a heavier spring. Now, let me tell you what I have decided last night. I contemplated, and then I talked myself into it. I think we're gonna do a C-notch here. Cause we got 2 inches here, well, I want more. I don't wanna have to worry about hitting a bump and this slamming and bamming. Yeah, so I think we're gonna go and do a C-notch. I ain't gonna start it tonight because, like I said, we're fixing to have to fight tornadoes again here in a little while. Tomorrow, though, we'll get started on that. Hopefully, we can get that done and get all this welded up and buttoned up, and then we start working on getting our gear changed out and getting this chunk back in here. Well, I survived all the tornadoes last night, so that's good. Sun is shining out here. It's just a beautiful day. Oh yeah. Here is the plan for today. I don't know if I'll get it accomplished. I would like to get all of this stuff welded up, and also see this bar from a coilover. It's too tall. It looks goofy. Floorboard will be way high. I don't like it. So we're gonna chop that down some. I got 3 3/4 inches from the top of the rear end to the bottom of the frame. Then the C-notch is gonna add about 2 more inches. That's 5 3/4. Well, that's all the clearance I need right here. So we're gonna chop that bar down to 5 3/4 inches on the bottom side. I think what I'm gonna do firstly though, let's get started on the C-notches. I need to get this little cross member out of the way, get the coilovers off. Then I'll show you how we're gonna do the C-notches. All right, I reckon we're ready to rock and roll with the arch on this thing right here. Of course, you can tell the rear end's gone, got it out of my way. Got me a piece of quarter pipe, I guess what you call it. Center line here, this is the outside marks for the pipe. I just held her up here and traced the underside. I'm gonna cut a little shy on that line, just make sure I don't cut too much, and then we'll grind some away. I gotta get on the other side, I guess, and make me some marks going this way. So as soon as I do that, I'll be back. We'll go to cutting. All right, got her marked up underneath and on the other side. And as you can see, I got the weight of the car sitting on this jack here. Then I got jack stands back here, just barely got weight on them. It's just in case this droops when I cut it. I don't think it will, but just in case it does, that'll keep it from happening. Also, I'm gonna get a measurement like from here down, and just make sure nothing moves. If it does, we'll put it back where it was before I weld this in. Anyways, let me get the plasma cutter. We're gonna go to cutting. Sure hope I got this right. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go straight over with these bottom lines, and then we'll go on the other side and cut that. Get us a line here, man. There. We got, I don't know if that's axle grease or brake fluid. I noticed it on this wheel. I don't know if it's axle seal leaking or we call it slave cylinder. It don't matter because we ain't using neither one of them no more. Oh yeah. All right. We officially cut a big old chunk out of my frame. Oh, we got a lot of trimming to do. Yep. Matter of fact, let me go on and cut a little bit out right now. Well, I don't know what's going on here, but I ain't nowhere near where I need to be. Interesting. Let me keep trimming on it. It's more of an oval than it is a circle right now. Still ain't there yet. I do believe the inside of my frame is on fire. I don't know what it's burning, but let me get some wooder dumped down in there. Well, it quit smoking mostly, but put some down in there anyway. I think we can start trimming with the grinder over here. On the inside, let me go on the inside, see what I got to do. All right, just by eyeballing everything, we're real close over here. I need to take about 1/8 of an inch off all the way around. Let me do that real quick and then we'll see what it looks like. All right, I had to do a wee bit of grinding. I got her fitting pretty good. It ain't exact. Got a little bit of a gap here and there and everywhere, but you know what? That's what they make welders for, welding up gaps. Oh yeah. Let me get my helmet on. We'll weld her in. It's hot. Hot on my fingers. And now we have one frame rail that has a C-notch. Oh yeah, looks pretty doggone good if you ask me. Look at that beautiful weld. Oh yeah, almost like I know what I'm doing. I had to do a double weld over here. I didn't like how it looked, so I went back and put another bead on it. But yes sir, looks pretty doggone good. Let me do that other side over yonder, and we'll be done with this. Well, I got the second one ready to go. I believe it fits better than the first one. Oh yeah, ain't hardly no gap over here. All right, let me get it welded up. I'll be back, and hopefully we can admire this one like we did the other one.
All right, let's go inside. Let's go inside the car and weld it up. Oh yeah.
All right, here is the second one. What does that weld look like? I can't see. I raised it up. So I could weld these on the bottom. Look at them welds. Oh my goodness and gracious. Yes, sir. Now, what I want to do, this jack needs to go that away because I want to weld this mount, that mount, and these two over here. So I'm fixing to let her down on these jack stands for the first time, and I'm gonna squat down in case this breaks in half. I don't want the car falling on me. I got to hold this lever up and let it down. So let me put y'all on the stand. If it does break in half, y'all get to see the carnage. Here we go, going down onto the jack stands. Oh, she solid as a rock. Oh yeah, did y'all have any doubt? I did check these measurements right here. Remember me telling you I was going to do that? It dropped maybe a 32nd. You think I'm going to worry about a 32nd? Oh no. Let me get these welded up and then we're going to start welding up on the rear end. I got to wet my rags real quick, put around that fuel line. Alright, that is done. Let's get up here and weld that rear end up. Might help if I put a ground on it, man. Come on, man. Well, I think I got everything welded up with the exception of our shock brace tower cross, whatever you want to call it. But yes, we got everything welded up. Look at them welds right there. I can lay a pretty bead when I want to. Oh yeah, not bad. I usually get in a hurry and it looks like garbagery, pretty oogly. Let me tell you, oogly. These mounts on the frame that I welded up a minute ago, very, very oogly. I don't know what was going on there. They just didn't want to weld at all. I ain't showing y'all that. Oh, no siree. Anyways, I'm glad to get this done. It looks pretty good, don't it? I didn't show a whole lot of this. Well, let me tell y'all this first. This is a 5.5 inch diameter pipe. Went to the metal store. They didn't have no 5 inch. That's what I wanted. They had 4.5. I don't understand, but that's what they had. Well, I got home and I found a short piece of 5 inch or 5.5 inch over there. Well, it's the same pipe that we made our little bucket, spring bucket, whatever you want to call it, for them front springs. Same metal. 5.5 inch. And from here up, we've added 1 3/4 inches of clearance. Remember yesterday, it was sitting on the springs and we had about 2 inches, you know, before we put this in. Well, now add 1 3/4 inches. We got 3 3/4 inches. They claim you want 2 to 3 inches of up travel and then 2 to 3 inches down. I think we'll be just fine and dandy. Oh yeah. Anyways, the reason I didn't show a whole lot of this because it was a lot of scratching your head, holding it up here. Will that work? Nope. Let's try something else. And then you come back, will that work? Yeah, maybe. It's hard to video that type of stuff. Anyway, I'm glad to have all this done. Tomorrow, I reckon we gotta do a lot of painting. Y'all know I don't care nothing about painting, but we got to. We can't put this under there looking like that. And I'll have to rough all this stuff up here because I'm not leaving it blue. Got all the bars over there. We gotta do the same thing. Like I said, we gotta do the shock brace, cross member, tower, whatever you want to call it. But for now, I'm going to the house because I'm tired. See y'all tomorrow. Well, I've been busy on this rear end today for the last few hours. As you can see, she's shiny. It's been an hour or so with the grinder, grinding all that rust and dirt and grease and whatever off of it, getting ready to paint. And I was fixing to paint it. Then I was planning on putting it in the car. Then I got to thinking, you know, my brain started working. As a dummy, leave it sitting on this table. Make it a lot easier to get your caliper brackets made because, you know, that's next. So I said, well, let's do that. Of course, I had to put the chunk in so I can put the axles in. And, well, I had to clean the inside of the housing and all that. Cleaned the axles up. You know, they had a lot of grinding dust in it. Anyways, got it cleaned up. Got my caliper on here with the pads. I'm holding it on with the air like we did on the front, you know. And trying to figure out how I'm going to do these calipers. These, well, you see this seal, you know, it's got a tapered roller bearing, and that bearing's got to have preload. And from what I've read, you got to have 1/8 inch preload that goes in there right there, and then you can squish that seal right in there up against that bearing. Well, what I did is this here is just the center out of the old backing plates of this rear end. That will be my spacer to give me that 1/8 inch preload. But a 1/4 inch plate fits perfect, I mean perfectly, for a bracket. The bracket, let me show you. The bracket's gonna mount right here, and it's 1/4 inch perfect. Yes, sir. So if I put a 1/4 inch plate in there, well, I ain't got no room for 1/8 inch spacer, and then, you know, squish it. What I'm gonna probably end up doing is I'm gonna make my bracket. It'll be, you know, cockeyed like that, because your caliper, you know, you don't want it on top. I don't really like them at the very back. I like them about right there. Anyway, you got to make this like this. We'll draw this center out, cut it out. Then I'll mill 1/8 of an inch down, and that'll give her a preload. Hopefully that'll work. I'm very tempted, and if I think about it very long, very tempted just to go right out there on the Trans Am and steal those brackets for now, because fellas, we're going to be pressed for time to get this done. And dude, yeah, I got 4 weeks, I think it is, 4.5 weeks, somewhere in there. We're gonna be pressed for time. I'm trying to get this done quickly. That's why I ain't showing all this knick-knack stuff. You know, camera slows me down a little bit. Anyway, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do here. When I figure it out, I'll be back and let y'all know, and we'll get it done. All right, I think I've decided. Let's use some 1/4 inch plate like I talked about. You know, we'll mill it down 1/8 inch so we can get our proper preload. If you don't understand what I'm talking about there, you will when I get done. I'm trying to figure out the angle that I got my caliper at right now. This little angle finder, it's going to be handy and dandy on this fabrication stuff. Oh yeah. I've got that set. What I need to do now, trace my center circle out and get my bolt holes drilled. Then we can go to shaping this plate to fit where our caliper is at. Like I said, I'm pressed for time. I don't know how much of this I'm going to show, but we got to get busy. We got to get this stuff done. Anyway, let me get started on this real quick. All right, I got my 4 holes drilled. You know, I'm using this. This is the retainer plate you would normally use to hold the seal and bearing in. Well, I'm using it as a template. We're not going to use it. I'm using it as a template. Got to cut this hole out. I've traced my lines here. Actually, I don't need this line. I'm glad I saw that. So let's erase that one, because it's got to go out this way. Yep. I just need to cut here, up here for now, and then cut this center out. So let me get that done real quick, and then we'll be able to bolt it on there, and then make sure our holes are going to line up on our caliper. All right, I got my bracket bolted on, but see this space here? If I tighten that all the way up, it's going to squish too much on that bearing. That's why we got to mill this down 1/8 of an inch, get our preload right. But right now, I'm just trying to get the bracket the right height now. We're going to have to cut some out right here because it's hitting the caliper. Probably going to have to cut out a little bit up here. Let me mark that, go to cutting on it. I'll probably have to whittle on it 3 or 4 times before we get that right. Once I get this right, then we get our bolt holes marked and drilled, and then we'll take it to Mama's and put it in the mill and mill that down. Bracket is made, with the exception of the 2 holes to hold this on. I got my homemade center punches in there. I had to, you know, they were about that long. Had to cut them off with the cutoff wheel because this will hit the rotor. Fixing to put the rotor on. We're going to clamp that to the rotor, get our clearances between the top of the rotor here and right here, and hopefully we'll get some marks transferred. I'll get them drilled out, and we'll be done with this bracket, and I get to make one more for the other side. Now, I gotta get me some whooshers stuck under here for clearance. And then get my air on it to clamp it in place. And I'll whoop on it with a hammer back here. And we'll have it marked. All right, let's put the air to it. Hold it in place. Whoop on it with a hammer, and hopefully we make a punch mark. All right, let me take all this off. See what we got. I can barely see them. But we got 2 punch marks. Oh yeah. Let me punch them a little bit better and I'll drill them out. And these, I'm pretty sure, are metrical bolts. I don't have any. So we ain't gonna be able to bolt them on tonight, but I am gonna make another one of these. Then we gotta mill this out. Well, the bolt holes line up. Oh yeah, these are 7/16s. They fit real loosely, but they do fit. I'll have to get some metric bolts tomorrow or sometime. But other than milling that out, that 1/8 inch, we're done with this bracket. I'm gonna make one more, then we'll take them over to Mama's and mill that out. But right now, I'm hungry, my knees are hurting, so I'm gonna go get me some sandwiches. I'm gonna go get me some drugs for my knees, and then we're just gonna keep on trucking. Yes, I am doing this completely manual. A manual wheel, so the circle ain't gonna be exactly a circle, but you do what you gotta do. That's all I can tell you. I need me a rotary table, and I'd like to have a dividing head too. I might have to get one here for too long. It makes stuff like this a lot easier. Let me grind that, clean it up. We'll see what it looks like. We ain't quite there in a couple places. Well, actually, most of it. From about here to over here, and then here. We got to go a little more. Now, for you know-it-all experts go to running your mouth, yes, I probably could devise a way to put this in the lathe, and just, I don't want to. Too lazy, it'd take too long. This right here will do just fine and dandily. So let me get back on the mill, see if we can't finish that up. By George, I do believe we got it. Yes, sir. I don't see anything sticking out except for maybe a little bit right in there. If I need to, I can probably take a die grinder and knock it down. But I'm using, this is the old backing plate. I'm using as a template. I do believe it'll work. That ain't too bad for using a manual mill to try to make a circle. This is Backyard Butchery at its pinnacle. Yes, sir. Let's get back to the house and see if that's gonna work. Well, I doomed. Yes, sir, sure did. I cut the wrong side out. It ain't gonna work over here. Do not fret though. It will fit over here. Sure will. Let me show you all this. See this gap? That's about 1/8 inch. That's the preload. I just got these finger tight. When we tighten them up, it's gonna squish. Put a preload on that bearing. Oh yeah. Let me do that and get the what's this called? Rotor on and the caliper. Let's see what she looks like. Well, I don't know what happened, but she ain't a fitting. No, sir. It'll fit, but it's jammed all up against here. This is your bracket that the caliper mounts to. It stays still. The caliper slides back and forth on it. Well, you can see it's jammed up against the rotor. Then we got clearance over here, right here in this area. I just measured it with the feeler gauges. It's about 140 thousandths. If we take half of that off of here, it'll center this up. So I think that's what I shall do. So let me pull this off. We'll go back over to the milling machine. We'll cut it down to, about right here. And put it back on here. Hopefully I will cut I will cut the right side this time. Well, I got it milled. You can see right there. I wrote this side, and then I wrote a big old knot over here. Make sure I did the right side. Well, let me tell you what, fellas, she's awful thin. Yep, I don't like that at all. If this works, I think what we'll do, I got some quarter, well, we can put, I think I got some 3/8 too. Weld us a piece of 3/8 to the back of here to stiffen that up. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Let me put that caliper on here and see what it looks like. We got the clearance. Oh yeah, see this side, and then see that side. Oh yeah, but the rotor rubbing the caliper right in there, and I don't know why, cause I had plenty of space over there. I don't know why they're not the same from side to side. Ain't got a clue. The only thing I know to do, we're gonna have to elongate some holes, whether it's these or these, I don't know. But listen, you can hear it rubbing. It don't rub all the way around though. It's like either the rotor or the axle it's out around. I don't know. I'm telling you, this project from the beginning been a nightmare. Sure has. I was going to make that other bracket tonight, but I'm tired. It's late. I'm gonna go in the house. I will tell you this though. This has brought back a lot of memories from the old Trans Am, probably 20 years ago. On the way home, I got to thinking this is exactly what we did on it. As far as making the bracket, we cut that center out, and then we cut this out, but the metal was probably 1/2 inch thick. Daddy built in for me, because back in I didn't know how to run no mill or lathe. He built in, he always overbuilt stuff. That's why the metal's so thick. But yeah, that brought back a whole lot of memories. We'll do something about that. If I have to, I'll grind a little bit away from the caliper there. That's aggravating. Well, let's just look at this one real quick. That may be what we do. It's hitting here and here. Yeah, we'll just grind just a 1/16, probably about all it needs. Matter of fact, let me do it now. Well, I don't know what's going on, but I know when I had this over there, the pad was right at the edge of the outside of this rotor. Well, y'all probably can't see. It's hard to get a good shot, but it's a good 1/8 inch away from the edge of that caliper now. I don't know what's going on, why they're different from side to side, but I was wrong about where it's rubbing to. It's not rubbing right here. It's rubbing down in there. I put some black marker in there and turned it over. You can see where it's scratching it. So I think what we're going to do is the bolt holes in the bracket, we're going to weld them up, and then we're going to re-punch them. Hopefully that'll fix that. Because if I elongate holes, well, they're liable to move. If I grind this and then I got to put new calipers on it later, I'll forget and it'll rub, and well, I don't want to do that. So we're going to redo these holes. I ain't doing it tonight though, I'm tired. We'll do that tomorrow. Then I'll make a duplicate for over here, but we ain't going to drill those holes. We will remark them over here. Yes, sir. That's exactly what we're going to do. After I mill this, we have everything bolted where it goes. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We will do it tomorrow, though. So, see y'all later. Holes are welded up. As you can see, ground down smooth. I got my transfer punches in there. This time, I stuck me some feeler gauges down in here. 100 thousandths clearance is what we're going to have. My pads are still a little bit below this edge. Everything's all right. As soon as I find my hammer, I'm going to peck on this. Hopefully it'll make us 2 marks. We'll drill them holes out, and then my 3/8 plate I talked about last night, I'm going to weld me a piece across there to strengthen that up a little bit. Got my 3/8 plate welded on the back of it. Drilling the holes now. As soon as we get done with that, we'll put her on, see how it does. Listen, be quiet. You don't hear no rubbing, do you? Oh no. We got her now. You can see all kind of daylight down through there now. Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. Got this one done. Let me do this one more time for that side. I'll be back, and well, we need to paint it. Then I got to change the gear. I got to do some studying on that, because it's been several years since I have set up a rear end. And then I'd like to get the rear end in the car today. Plus, we still got to do that shock tower cross member brace, whatever you want to call it. That shouldn't take too long. But anyways, let me get this other one made and I'll be back. Come over here to Mama's to mill my bracket, and y'all look who showed up. Oh yeah, we ain't seen her in a long time. Oh, Miss Daisy. How you doing, girl? Come here. Come here. Say hello, everybody. You want some belly rubs? All right, we'll see you later. We now have brakes on the back of the old Forte. Oh yeah. This in here, you know, I do a little step there. I only took 50 thousandths here. I took 100 over there. It's within 50 thousandths. That's not bad for a backyard butchery. It sure ain't. Here's what we're going to do next. Well, first I'm gonna take me a break. I'm gonna eat me a sandwich because I'm hungry. But before I do that, I gotta go to the store because I ain't got no bread. I don't think I got any ham. Fellas, I gotta do it all. Y'all think I'm joking, but I ain't. Anyway, after I take me a little break, eat me a sandwich, we're gonna pull this chunk out. I'm gonna go to changing that gear. Well, I gotta go to O'Reilly's and get a crush sleeve because, you know, we're putting new gear in there. And, well, while I'm there, I'm gonna get me some paint. But I'm not gonna show any of this because it's been a really long time since I've set up a gear. I'm gonna be going back and forth from my phone, possibly a computer. I might even pull out the old VHS tape that I learned on. Yeah, I think I got it from Summit. I mean, 25, 30 years ago. Oh yeah, it shows Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet. It might even show a Toyota, seems like. Anyway, that's what I learned how to set a gear up on. And if my VCR still works, well, I might just pop it in and watch it. Anyway, my point is, I ain't showing none of this. When I get back, hopefully this will be painted and it'll be ready to put in the car. Probably won't see y'all anymore today. I reckon I'll see y'all Monday. Change of plans. O'Reilly's did not have the crush sleeve that I needed, so I had to order it. Should be here tomorrow. So I said, well, you know, still got some time left in the day. Let's go home and paint. So that's what I did. I got the old flat wheel out on the grinder and went to knocking this old blue paint off. Man, that was ugly. Glad to see that gone. Then I hit the underside of the car with it, knocked all that dust off. Paint probably won't stick under there, but it'll look good for a day or two anyways. That's all that matters, just a day or two. Then I put a couple of coats on everything, as you can see. Pretty shiny right now, but it'll be flat when it dries. Very glad to get all that done, because y'all know I hate painting. I really do. Well, it ain't the painting, I hate the prep. Yep. Anyways, tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest. What I plan on doing. I need it after this week, sure enough. Also, it is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas. Fellers, remember, you ain't got but one mama. Take care of her. We'll see y'all Monday, and hopefully, maybe, we can finish this up. For those who do not believe me about the VHS VCR, well, here it is. There's my VCR down in there. You can see the lights blinking on it. Here's the cover for the tape. This is old stuff, but it still applies today. Well, I got done watching the video. As you can see, I'm starting to tear the chunk apart. If you're wondering what that noise is, well, I got my kerosene heater going because, you know, I painted that rear end and stuff 2 days ago. It's still wet. I'm done with that paint. I'll never use it again. I'm going back to tried and true Rust-Oleum. Anyway, I got heater blowing on it, hoping it'll cure it. I have my little handheld torch, and I put it around one little area that was wet, and it dried it up pretty quick. So, hoping that will dry it up. It's making it very warm in here, but, you know, that's just a sacrifice I make for y'all. Anyway, just want to update you on some of this. Fix pull this ring gear off. But, remember how I told you, when was it? Was it this video or last week? I don't remember. I don't even know what day it is. Remember how the axle, though, I said was rubbing this here? Well, there's all kind of little grit in here. We're going to have to cut those axles down like the stock ones were. Remember, they were neck down just a little bit. It wasn't much. The only time it does that, really, though, is like if you're in a turn, one's turning slower than the other. So, yeah, we're going to have to cut them axles down just a little bit, you know, about that much of it. Anyways, let me get this took apart, get the new gear on, get it set up. I'll be back in a little while. Took a lot longer than I expected, which it usually does. When you don't do something like this every day, well, you forget everything. And you got to go back and check stuff and second guess yourself and make sure you're doing this and that right. Anyway, I think I'm done with it. And that pattern there on the drive side, that's pretty perfect if you ask me. The coach side, it's a little bit to the heel too much, but you know what? I ain't worrying about it. It's good enough for what we do around here. Tired of fooling with it. This right here is hurting me just standing in this one spot fooling with this. Yes, sir. I'm going to have to go take me a break. When I get back, if that rear end housing over yonder is dry enough, we're going to slide it right on in here. Hook my 4 bars up. Then we're going to jack it up all the way. And remember, we got to modify my little cross member that I made. I want to shorten it a little bit. Get that done. Then there's some other stuff I got to do to it. I'll show you that. And I would like to get the rear end in this car and done tonight. I don't know if it will or not. It's getting dark and I've been at this for a little while and my knees are hurting. I know I ain't supposed to talk about my knees. I'm sorry. But my knees are hurting. I'm going to go rest them for a little bit. When I get back, we'll get that housing under that car at least. I may or may not have took a nap, like 15 minutes worth. It ain't very long, but that's usually about all I need for another 4 to 6 hours. Oh yeah, we're gonna get this rear end in this car tonight. I'm gonna show you what I just did. Remember how the rear end had a hole in it? And it's about right here now. It's for the vent and plus the little block for the lines to come off of. I just drilled and tapped that. I thought it was 1/8 inch pipe plug. No sir, it's 7/16 fine thread. Yep. Anyway, got that took care of. I'm fixing to get that housing, put it up in here, get the bars on and work on that cross member. Set y'all up on the camera. Let's get her done. Oh yeah! Apparently, running that heater on this for a little while did the trick. Because that paint ain't sticky no more. My bars were the same way. So I got my little torch and heated them up and they seem to be dry too. I still ain't gonna use that paint no more because that's aggravating. Let me get my bars. We'll get the bottom ones on first. Y'all have to excuse me for being out of breath. My asthma is just insane. Last week or so, it's been pretty bad. Oh, yeah. Anyways, these bolts that they sent with this 4-bar kit, they're metric and they're equivalent to a grade 5. So tomorrow, I will be going somewhere to get grade 8 5/8. These are, I think, 16 millimeter. They're like 4 thousandths bigger around than the 5/8, so 5/8 is going to work, and they will be grade 8 if I can hang on to that. All right, let's get this other on. Oh yeah! This one I got to squish with the clamps because they're spread open too far. Ah! I sort of messed up on these. These need to be on the same plane. They're not, they're twisted. But no more suspension travel than we got. I think we'll probably be okay. I ain't gonna worry about it. Let me get a bolt. I need to get the jack on this, I think. We have a major issue, safety issue. I mean, life-threatening safety issue. See this right here? See that shiny stuff right there? That's, that's the end of the bar. Yes, sir. It broke. There's the other end of it right there. She sure enough did. I was wiggling it around, trying to get this in there and get the bolt lined up, and it broke just like that. If that's all it takes to break them, I don't want to use any of this. No, sir. My life is... It's a little more valuable than this cheap Chinese junk, so I don't know what I'm going to do right now because I don't know. We got 4 weeks or so to power tour, and see a little fella right out there? I got lots and lots of work to do to him. I didn't have time for this. No, sir, sure didn't. Let me pull this off and look at it. Well, upon further inspection, yep, she's still broke. What in the world? I don't know. The weld didn't break. The metal is what gave loose. What it possibly is this needs to be beveled a lot. That way you can get more weld on it. I can probably do that, but I don't know if I want to risk my life with this now. It makes me wonder about this end down here. Here's something else too. Tony Angelo used to be on Hot Rod Garage. He got his own channel now called Stay Tuned. Well, I was watching his show, I don't know, a couple days ago. He put what appeared to be this exact kit under a 55 Buick? 57 Buick, somewhere in there. He said it was a Helix brand. It looks exactly, exactly like this one. Makes me think, it's just made in China and branded by several different ones. Tell you what we're going to do. Let's put this end in the vise, twist on it a little bit. Let's just see if it'll break. This might be hard to do because this table's on wheels and it bolted down. But let's give everything a heave home and see what it does. That one there seems to be holding pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do at this point. Let me think about this a little while. Well, I put these two in the vise. I wrenched on them pretty good, and they don't even act like they're bending. So I don't know what to think at this point. Maybe this is just a freak MLS. You know how that goes. I got a good mind to just grind them off, make sure they're beveled, weld them back, and possibly do the same thing on these because they don't look like they were beveled either. Let me ponder on it a little bit. That's probably what I'm going to have to do because I really don't have a choice. I was planning on eventually, you know, when I was going to do this, making my own bars and everything. There's a reason why, because this right here, I know it's built right if I do it. That's why I hate buying kits. I'm telling you, I like making my parts myself. If it does break, ain't nobody to blame but me. Let me grind this, bevel this, and weld them up. Let's just see what it looks like. Well, I did a little grinding and put a bevel on that bolt all the way around. It ain't, you know, the best, but that's what it should look like, maybe even more than that. Then I ground all this old weld off this end here. And the only thing I know to do is just stick it in the car. That way everything will be straight. And at least tack it and then bring it over here and weld it real good. I've decided though, this stuff here is gonna go away. The rods, they're okay. But these ends, I'm afraid of them, and these bushings. Well, let me get one of these bushings. They ain't nothing more than plastic, that's all they are. It's not urethane, it's not rubber. It ain't nothing but cheap plastic. That's all that is. I mean, that's what you get when you buy stuff from China. Like I said, I had planned on making all this, but you know, then we got crunched for time because trying to get ready for Hot Rod Power Tour, you know, the truck out there. And well, what I got some ideas, but and I was really hoping to have this car done this week, but it ain't gonna happen. I got some ideas of what to do, but I think we're gonna end this video right here, and hopefully we can get this car done eventually. I don't know, I'm about ready to give up. Yes, sir, I had really planned on having this car done this week. I mean, I have worked my butt off the last 7 days. It ain't happening, no sir. This is really, it's through a wrench and stuff badly. Like I said, I got ideas of how to fix it. I'm gonna go in the house and see about that. Tomorrow I'll weld that rod up, put it back together. Good enough to get this car out of here. Hopefully we can get dude in here because I gotta buy parts, you know, to fix this mess. Anyway, I don't know, maybe one more week and we'll be done with this car. Next week, be looking for dude. Got a whole lot of work to do to him. Yep. I don't know if we're going to get it done, but we're going to give her the old try. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blurb, blurb.